Hello and welcome to this video for Publisher exercise number 25. And today we're going to be working with tables in Publisher. So we've used tables before in Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint also. So you've done a lot of this before, but of course with Publisher it's a little bit different with those different categories where the buttons are located and things like that. So let's go make a table first. So up in your Home tab, you have objects and of course table. If you click on it, you can select easily how many rows and columns you need. So of course columns are up and down and rows are left and right. So if I wanted a table with 3 rows and 5 columns, it would look like this. So you can see 5 columns, 3 rows. Otherwise you can also click insert table, which gives you more options as well. So I'm just going to make a table here and let's put it here basically up on top of the table we have. So we have a table on top of a table here that we're going to use for formatting. So of course as soon as you do that, you have a lot of options. Now over here, this is the quick table format section, and so if I click the more arrow, you can see I have lots of options I can choose from. It changes the border, it changes the outline, fill, all those different things. So if you're not have a particular thing you have to follow, it's good to just use one of these. It's going to save you time, save you the effort you need to put into it. If you need to be more specific, of course line color, that's dealing with the borders of each cell, and of course borders here saying if you want color on the bottom, left, right, top, all those things that we've used before, and of course diagonal ones or inside of the cell as well. So lots of options here for you that you can choose, and of course you got your drop cap here, number style, and then of course ligatures, I guess, I don't know. Don't use that too much, but all those options. And then of course if you go to the layout tab, this is where you can change how many rows you have, how many columns you have. You can insert some. Often you're going to make a table and then realize you either need to add more or you need to take away. So you can do it this way here. With the delete button, you can choose columns, which is up and down, rows, and of course you got to click inside that column or row and then choose to delete it, and it will get rid of it. You can choose to delete the whole table as well. View grid lines, you can make them appear, go away, and of course select as well. Now we do have our alignment up here, so if you want it to be lined up a certain way in the cells, you can select them. Of course when you select cells, you just click and hold down and you drag it across and it'll work this way. There's also, if you get the black arrow to appear like this, that's just the one you can easily click and select that specific cell. Otherwise I usually just click and drag, easy way to do it. And of course alignment is over here. You can change the text direction if you need to. Hyphenation, so say typically when you type something in a table, if it's too long for the cell, it'll split it and hyphenate it. If you don't want that, you can uncheck this box, and then of course too you can tell it how much of a zone there is for it. So if it's 1/4 inch, you're going to hyphenate it. So you can always change that too. And then cell margins is over here. You can change the cell margins. Right now this one's set to narrow. There's moderate, there's wide, and of course there's custom too. So if you click custom, this is where you can mess around with a little bit more. And then of course too, there's also the other options. So layout, you can deal with size, you have more options here, you can type it in, and then colors and lines as well are over here, and you can get to that from the design button, bring up the page dialog or the dialog box launcher for those groups. So stuff we've used before but kind of in a new way here with the exercise. And then of course too, if you need to merge cells, you select which ones you want to merge. So I click and drag across, and then you can see here in the merge group it gives me that option now to merge the cells. And then of course once I have them merged, I could choose to split them if I need to as well. Often you're going to do this for the title of something, so maybe you're making a calendar, maybe you're making a list, whatever the case is, you would use merge cells to do that. So that's kind of the basic formatting skills that you're going to need to know here in the exercise. So let's go ahead and get started. We need to open up Pub 25, so I'm going to do that. I have it here in my recent files, Pub 25. You're going to see it looks like this. We have our area attractions from last time that we put in here. And of course, first thing it says, we need to save it with a new name. So File, Save As, Browse, and I'm choosing the folder right away that it needs to go into. It might be your flash drive, it might be a specific folder. And we're changing here to 25 flyer underscore your initials. So 25 flyer underscore your initials. And we're going to save it just like that. All right, now we do need to work with the table here. I'm going to zoom in so you can see this hopefully a little bit better on your screen. It says merge all the cells in the first row. So this empty row right up here at the top, we need to merge it. So I click and drag it across. And then let's go to our layout tab up here so you can see table tools, layout tab, and we need to choose merge cells here in the merge group. You can see once I click it, we no longer have that division. It's all one big cell. Then it says cut the text from the text box above the table. So this one right here, we're going to cut the text and we're going to paste it into the newly merged row. So I'm just going to click in this text box. I'm going to hold down Control and A to select all of it. Control and X is to cut. And then I click down here, Control V to paste. So those are some good keyboard shortcuts, or I think are called hotkeys here that you can use. So Control A selects everything, Control X is cut, and then Control V is paste. Alright, it says delete the empty text box. So I just move my mouse up here, click along this outer edge. You can see how my cursor has changed, and then I push the delete button, and now it's gone. It says we do need to increase the height of the table to fill the space it occupied. So let's click on the table. I'm going to move my mouse up here where you can see it's changed to look like this. Now let's click and drag and bring it up to about where it was before. So it's going to look about that much spacing between the two. Alright, it says apply a light gray background to row 1. It says use accent for gray. So we should be in this cell, so click on it. If you clicked away from it, let's go to the Design tab, and then of course we're going to click on Fill, and it says Accent 4 is the one we're looking for, so it should be this one right here. Yes, so the gray Accent 4, you click on it, you can see it's now applied. It says apply a 1-point bottom only purple border, use the purple in the color scheme in row 2. So we need to select this row. So you notice if I get it over here, I can click, it'll select the whole row, so the black arrow like this. Otherwise, just click and hold down here, drag it across, and then let's change our line color first. So it needs to be purple. Then let's change how wide it is. So they did say apply a 1-point border, so right here, and then also bottom only. So we change the color, we change the point. Now let's go and select border and choose bottom border, and you can see it applied it here. And I click away, and that's how I can see it. So make sure you select these things first and then apply the border, because if you don't and you do it the opposite order, it's going to get messed up. Next thing we need to do, it says set vertical alignment of the cells in row 2 to bottom. So I'm going to select this row again, so I can do it this way, clicking here and it shows it. Otherwise, I'll show you clicking and dragging again. So really just like that. Once you move to a second cell, it will select the whole cell as opposed to just part of it. And vertical alignment, so we're going to our layout tab here in table tools, and then of course this is our vertical alignment section right here. It says vertical alignment and cells in row 2 to bottom. So we're just going to go here. This is bottom center. So bottom center, since it doesn't specify. For rows 3, 4, and 5, it says turn off automatic hyphenation. So we can select those rows. You'll notice I'm clicking along the left side here with the black arrow pointing right, and I just moved down and it selected everything for me. Otherwise, click and drag across the boxes, one of the two, or cells. And then let's turn off that hyphenation. So alignment group up here, hyphenation, we uncheck the box and we click OK, and you can see it adjusted it. So again, it's up here, hyphenation, you just uncheck that box. It says for rows 3, 4, and 5, so I'm going to leave these selected here. If you need to, select them again. Set the internal right margin to 0.2. So I'm going to click on cell margins over here, and we're going to do custom. So down here at the bottom, custom. So cell margins, custom, and it says internal right. So here it is, text box margins right 2.2. So I'm just going to click down arrow. Oh, it looks like it's by, there we go. I had to click the down arrow and then up twice. So 0.2. You could probably just click the up arrow. I was thinking the wrong direction here, and click OK. Alright, so this is how it should look by the time you finish formatting it. You can see the spacings here, all of this as well. So let's save the file again, and then we're going to choose to print. So File, Print. Of course, you should have Microsoft Print to PDF selected, so I'm going to switch it here. And then we're going to select Print. Of course, you're saving it with the same name. I'm already in the folder I need to, so I'm saving it in the correct spot. So 25 flyer underscore your initials. And then, of course, I push enter and it prints. You can save your file, and then let's move on to the next file here. So let's open up OPUB 25. So File, Open, OPUB 25. Going to go down here. All right, now for this one, it's another calendar. I know you worked on a calendar before. Let's save it with the correct name here first. So File, Save As, and then we're going to choose Browse. It wants me to save it, or it's suggesting to save in Downloads, since that's where I already am. But we're not going to do that. So go to the folder you need, and we're going to change this to 25 cal underscore your initials. And then push enter. All right, now I'm not going to be showing you everything with this, but basically what you need to do for this exercise is you need to use what you learned in this last lesson here, so the last few exercises about borders and shading, to format this calendar attractively. So right now it's just black and white. If I were to print it out, it would be difficult to read because of the size of the words and also the text, the numbers here. So don't worry about changing the exact dates, but what I want you to do is change how it looks. So you need to change borders and shading and format the text to make it easier to read. So this needs to be a calendar that if you were to see it, you wouldn't be opposed to getting it. Maybe you might want to buy it, I don't know, but or really print it. But it needs to look nice. So add some color to it. Make sure you change the borders and shading, and then, of course, change the text so it's easy for people to read. So I'm not going to change it here, so you can just do this yourself. Remember, you got to save it once you're done. You don't have to worry about printing it. So let me show you the few files here that you're going to need for this exercise. So you should have saved, it was 3 files. So you got 25 cal, so the calendar, and then 25 flyer, both publisher and PDF. And that's how you complete publisher exercise number 25.